Welcome, welcome. It's Tuesday Night Live from Dallas, Texas. Hope everybody's well. Truly welcome. We're going to have fun tonight. We're going to talk 1919. And I picked this jacket out because it's perfect for spring. It's perfect for this time of year. It's great with jeans. Everybody wears jacket. I've had so many women who say to me, "Oh, I don't wear jackets anymore." Oh gosh. I so hope to change your perspective because jackets are worn by everybody and they're so good looking and they're so complimentary to your figure and they're just fun. So the goal is to make them fun for you. This has a lot of pieces and or we can simplify it. I took it to a lot of pieces and I took it all the way to a few pieces. And the goal is to be able to really, like we could make, just think about this, we could make a scrap jacket, just scraps because all the little pieces are all just a bunch of little pieces. So before we kind of get started, we're going to fit it tonight. I want you to ask all the questions about fitting. I want to get into our pictures because I really want to show you just a whole bunch of different pictures and just where you can get ideas from. So you can search for multicolored jackets, you can search for patchwork jackets, you can search for all kinds of different things. But I'm going to take you through a little journey that I did so you can kind of see where I usually start. I knew I had a jacket and I knew I had a jacket 1919 that had a lot of pieces to it. And that really promotes a playground. It promotes a lot of fun things to do and the ideas can be just simply endless. All right, so let's look at a few jackets. All right, so we're going to start with classic black and white. I love black and white. Everybody loves black and white. There's nothing to not love about black and white. So I started, okay, I can do it black and white. Well, let's go to the next one. And then you notice, and this is not necessarily spring, but there's black and white and another color, or black and tan and another color. And that cobalt blue, which we've got a lot of on the site, is a really nice spring color. Black, cobalt, and white, black, cobalt, and tan. So those combinations become very, very pretty where you get a yard of each color and throw them together and mix them up and they really come out beautiful. All right. Plaid. This is a great jacket to try plaid on because you don't really have to match any of the plaids and yet you can have a plaid jacket because you can intersect the plaids with solids or plaids on a bias. And there's just so many beautiful things you can do with that concept of plaid. And plaid is terrific with jeans, just a white little t-shirt. It's wonderful for spring. Okay? And then we go back to black and white, but I wanted you to see that both sides don't have to be the same. That's why I wanted you to see this. I love that one side can be one way and another side can be another way. I certainly don't have to make them exactly the same. Okay? And then the whole denim idea, the fact that denim is mixed up, you know, she's got, if you notice, one color jeans on, a different color in her jacket. So don't feel like denims have to match. I think sometimes as sewers, and I'm definitely guilty of this, we just really want to match. We want everything to match so it looks like it matches. But I think sometimes we get a little too matchy-matchy. So really different color denims really work well together. You could put different color denims in the same jacket. Again, this has so many pieces that would work really well together. So just again, make it fun and make it artistic. But I think it is a good idea to search ideas for different places to get them. Let's look at, I've got one more here. I did this florals because florals are so popular for spring. We have a lot of florals. I did one in a floral. I'll show you how I did those changes. Mine's a little matchy-matchy, but you're going to forgive me for that and we'll move on. And I think I've got one more. There you go. So another color that's really big this spring is, of course, your pinks, your hot pinks. A hot pink with black, a hot pink with denim, hot pink with navy. You've got all those hot pink variations, and we put up a really cool, just a really nice knit hot pink today. It's just perfect for this jacket. Okay, so we're going to now start into where do we start? And I do encourage you to, let's have some interaction. Before I start that though, I should tell you that tonight we're going to have a giveaway. The DVD is called Plain Potatoes with Patterns. It's exactly what I'm doing tonight, so it's really appropriate. There was a woman who wrote in and wanted to donate this, which we say thank you. You all should say thank you to. And so we'll do that a little later on, not just yet. We'll kind of get going, and when we take a little break, we'll we'll do that. But just to let you know, we're going to give that away. And so many of you get confused. We only give away when it's live. So some people watch it afterwards and they keep putting in that keyword. And I feel so bad thinking they don't, you know, you have to be logged in. That's the only reason I'm telling you this now. So again, if you're watching this after Tuesday night, the giveaway's happened. It's already been given away and there's nothing else to get. Okay. All right. So where do we start? Let's look at this very first picture and we're going to make our muslin with this. All right. This is how we make our muslin. So if you notice, the pattern has, I don't know how many pieces, it doesn't matter, but we're only going to pick 7 pieces. And the reason we're going to do this, and I did this purposely, is obviously the jacket's all cut up. And when you put it together, it equals the lining. So we're going to use the lining to make the muslin. The lining will make the muslin. So if you notice, I picked the front lining, or the front piece, which is the front and the front facing. You've got the front facing is what you're going to use. So there's no pieces. It's just one solid piece. And then you're going to use the side front lining. And it's going to be equal because the bottom part, and it's going to be a little shorter than your jacket would be because you haven't added the bottom. And the bottom has a little black layer that goes all the way around it. All right. And then you'll need this little shoulder piece because that is cut out of both the upper layer and the under layer. So you have to have the front and then the side front, and then this little piece there, and I've circled them. And then you need the front, which is where the zipper goes into, and then on the back, kind of same thing. This is the back lining, this is the back side lining, and this is that little shoulder piece. Okay, so that's the best way to get your muslin made, and don't forget your shoulder pads, and put your shoulder pads in. The pattern calls for an inch shoulder pad. So I got my inch shoulder pad and I put that in place. Okay, so we're going to drape. We are going to drape. Are you ready? All right, this is the time to ask questions. Ask any questions. L, C, and D is what we're going to go through. If you're new, we have lots of information out there on LCD, but I thought it'd be good to really just kind of go through the process of draping. It's fun. You know, you guys know me. I love draping. I love draping. It just takes care of all your issues so that when you sit down to sew, you feel really confident that it's going to work because you've done your muslin. Okay? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is close up the front. This has a 3/8 seam allowance, overlaps a 3/8 seam allowance. So I'm going to kind of make sure that closes on the right location and close all the way down center front. And I missed that. And you could just, you know, you can always just mark it with a blue line to make it a little easier for you, but you want to make sure those center fronts are absolutely together. Unless you're going to wear it open. There's times I purposely want to wear my jacket open, and so you don't close it, you leave it open. But however you want to do it, you're going to bring that jacket together or open, either way. That's step 1. Okay, I've got my shoulder pads in place. And the very first thing I'm going to worry about is length. L, C, D. So L is length. This is a princess seam. It's a silhouette pattern princess seam. I just don't think you're going to have any length issues at all. So really don't worry about length. The bust point of the pattern and the bust point of view do not have to align exactly. You can be 3 inches off and still be okay. So I'd have to be drunk and passed out blind to be that bad at getting that into the bust circle. And I'm not when I'm making patterns, maybe other times, but not when I'm making patterns. So really, just you don't have any length issues at all. Length is not the overall length of the jacket. Length is internal. It's the base of the neck to bust, bust to waist, waist to hip. If you want to make the jacket longer, you would just add at the bottom, okay? Because you wouldn't want to change the bust and you wouldn't want to change the waist. So I'm going to, kind of pause at each of those places to make sure we're all on the same page and to make sure you understand what I'm saying. Okay, and any questions related to that, this is a great time to address them. Okay, are bigger shoulder pads now in style? Bigger is a relative word. 1 inch shoulder pads are in style. If you're not comfortable with 1 inch, you could do a 1/2 inch. You know, I think it's kind of proportional on you and your comfort level. If the back of the pattern says 1 inch and you're using a 1/2 inch, you want to just take up the difference right here at the shoulder. But we'll get into that in just a second, okay? But they are in style, yeah, shoulder pads are in style. Is a jacket supposed to get worn closed or open like a jean jacket? It's designed to me to wear closed. A jean jacket is designed to me to wear open. It's meant to be open. This jacket is meant to be closed. It doesn't mean you can't wear it open, but it's really meant to be closed. I have a tendency to make all of my jackets closed and then wear them open. Just because I like the look. It's not a double-breasted, so it can really be done either way. I guess that doesn't really help you, does it? But I would design it closed, and then you can wear it closed. Just ever you wear a jacket closed, I don't even care if you wear it with jeans. It's just a little more formal. And so I think that because I want to come across when I have a jacket on as informal or casual, not in literal fabrics, but in approach to people. I want to be approachable, and sometimes if you're zipped up and buttoned up, it's a little more formal as far as your interaction with somebody that you're meeting. Okay, does that make sense? I want to be listened to, so I want my jacket open, I want to be casual, I want to be heard. And sometimes if you're closed up, you're not necessarily on that level. Clothing communicates. Okay, since this is a jacket, shouldn't you be fitting it over a blouse? That's your call. I don't ever wear blouses under my jackets. I don't like the double layer. I'm going to always wear a little tank, sleeveless tank under my jacket. So there's really no need to put it on over something else. So you have to ask yourself, what do you want to wear it over? Especially this particular jacket, if you notice. There are some jackets, you know, sorry you guys, I know I don't mean to go off onto tangents, but I want you to understand kind of my perspective of it so you can give you thinking, room for thought. This is an attention. This jacket says, I am the focal point. It is the focal point. And so whenever you've got a jacket that's a focal point, I don't think you do a blouse underneath, and you do it for, you do it for the focus. Anything underneath it plays a second fiddle. It just should be calming, if that makes sense. Okay, so, sorry. I'd like to know the best way to reduce the width of the shoulder pads. They're too wide for my shoulders. Okay, so I hear that question asking two different things. So let's just make sure we're on the same page. The width of a shoulder pad is this way. It's up and down, not this way. They're too wide for your shoulders. So do you mean they're too wide this way, or they're too wide up and down? So if they're too wide up and down, you can just put in a 1/2 inch shoulder pad, and you can just pin up the shoulder, the difference right here. You can change the angle of the shoulder seam, and you take it out right here, and then you taper to nothing at the neck edge. Okay, you just go taper to, it's a straight angle line. And on the muslin up there, it's not this one, it's another one. I've got it drawn on. But I'll show it to you in a minute. I'm doing it here, but then I physically drew it on there so you could see it here in a minute, and we'll go to that one. But basically, I can take it out now. If it's too wide this way, then that's an issue of going from one size to another, using your armhole template, putting your armhole template on here and making it narrower here and keeping it wider at the bottom. Okay? Okay, what about women with short waist? Would length on these patterns matter? Would length on these patterns matter with women? No. No, when you have a short waist, you're really talking proportions. You don't, so if your body is, I'm going to say for the sake of argument, if you're asking if it's a short waist, that means your body's out of proportion. We still want our clothing to be in proportion, so that, especially with a jacket, so that we look like we're in proportion. If you have a short waist, you don't want to tell the whole world, hey, I have a short waist. You want to ignore your waist and put your waist where it should be by the numbers, and that way you'll look completely normal. Okay? All right. Pattern cup is not always bra cup you wear. Pattern cup is not always bra cup you wear. You have shown how to increase depth for fuller cup, but what is indication in muslin that one should use a smaller pattern cup? Okay, so pattern cup is bra cup, if you've got the right bra cup. Now, we could argue about that all night long. That's not the goal. There's so many women wearing the wrong bra cup size that's why it doesn't match. But if you are in the right bra cup size, yes, it should match. However, having said that, let's just suppose, on the argument's sake, that it does not. Your signs, which is what you're asking for, let's get there in 1 second. We did length. Circumference is the next one, and circumference is obviously subjective as to how I want the jacket, how much mobility I want. All of those things determine circumference. And then depth is what you're asking. So cup sizing is depth. And so I put this on a mannequin. I chose this for me, and this mannequin is a little bustier than I am. And here's your little telltale signs. You can see there's a little wrinkling right in here. And when I go and pinch a dart here, which would make this dart larger, you can see that I get rid of all those wrinkles that are there. So it's a dart. It starts at the side seam. If you notice, it automatically tapers to nothing right there at the princess seam. It's a dart. It's just never in the final garment, because we can literally sew it here. We can sew it in the muslin, and we do not have to have it in the final garment. But let's say, for instance, this is a C cup, and if I'm taking a dart, that means I should have used a D cup. Okay? If I'm using a D cup and I still have to take a dart, then I have to take a dart, because we only go to D cup. But if you're using a cup sizing and you see that wrinkle in there, because can you see how much cleaner this is now? If you're using a cup size and you are having to take a dart, then that is saying to you, you've chosen the wrong cup size. The whole reason of doing the cup sizes is so you don't have to take that dart. I'm trying to make it simpler for you. So, I ran into a lady one time, and she used a certain cup size, and she liked to take the dart. She just really liked to take the dart. So I'm good with that, as long as you understand why you're doing and what you're doing and what the results are. So you can see that if you take it out of the side seam in the front, for the front, you have to continue it around to the back. And I continued it around all the way to the back, and it looks beautiful. I mean, it really looks beautiful. You can see it just makes the back fit better. It makes everything fit better. So cup sizing, while we isolate it in the front, it does have some impact on the back. And you can see how beautiful that is. And I'm going to pop this up because this is depth also, the shoulder seam. I always say what's called tighten the shoulder. Like, if you don't tighten the shoulder seam, a lot of times it will fall down and through here. So you always want to watch to tighten that shoulder seam and to make sure that it's tight. The angle of it is tight to the body. Even if it's, you can do too much. I've seen it do too much, and that causes problems too. But most of the time, it's better off to have it be too angled than too square. And because when it's too square, that excess falls down below on the garment. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see that you're not going to have a lot of changes. They're just going to be minor changes, but you do have to understand, especially that cup sizing. So I appreciate those questions on cup sizing as to how to get that right. And what are the signs? The signs are you'll have extra wrinkling or gapping right around the armhole. And right in that side panel, it'll almost look, there'll be diagonal wrinkles, and they'll just look like you need a dart, and a dart will fix it. So if you take a dart when you're draping, even on jackets you have in your closet just to practice, if you'll take a dart at the side seam and taper to nothing at that princess seam or right around the bust circle, even if there's not a princess seam, you'll say, aha, this garment is too flat for me. It doesn't have enough depth. It doesn't accommodate my depth. Okay, is it woven or knit? I did a knit muslin. I used our 3117 because you can. You're not relying on the knit for fit. You're just using it as a muslin, and so there's no reason why you can't. I use that knit muslin for almost everything, except if I'm doing a woven pant, and then it does kind of threaten how you feel. Okay, just an FYI. Okay, pretty enough. Any questions on fitting? It's just not hard. It's easy. If you raise the shoulder seam, what do you do? Oh, if you raise the shoulder seam, I'm sorry, what do you do to the sleeve? Well, remember that in this particular case, I raised it because I wanted a 1/2-inch shoulder pad. So all you want to do is just take the armhole itself and just slide it down. Just restore it right back to what it was. I didn't change the shoulder seam because I wanted a shorter cap height. I only changed it because I wanted a different size shoulder pad. So just take the original armhole and put it back, and you'll see it'll just bring it right back down the same amount you took up here. So you're going to restore the armhole right back to where it was originally. Okay, if that makes sense. And hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask questions, you guys. Okay? Okay, so this is our fabric 3117. This is our 1919. Again, what I did is I used the lining pieces and the facing pieces so that I could get an idea of, without taking the time to put all the pieces together. Then I go back to the piece that's closest to that piece, and I can make the changes in that piece. Okay, very simple to do. All right, perfect. If you take a dart in the shoulder seam, do you have to change the armhole? Well, the shoulder seam is in the armhole. So no, you don't have to change the armhole. You can restore the armhole to what it was, but you do have to go through that, that second step. You have to restore it back, because if you take a dart in the shoulder seam, you've made the armhole smaller. So you want to take it back to the same size it was in the beginning. Okay. Any update on the ship dates for Series 900? Yeah, they'll go out next week. Well, actually, that's not true. We actually started shipping them, but it'll go through the end of next week, and we'll have everything shipped by the end of next week. We're actually going to announce the sale of those Thursday night, and the new pattern. Everything's in and shipping. But just because there's a lot and it takes us a while, we just ship kind of on a week basis is what we do. But yeah, no, we're excited, very excited. Thanks everybody for your support, for your patience. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Thank you. We're very excited to get those doing. But isn't the dart what you take for a fuller cup than pattern? But isn't the dart what you take for a fuller cup? Is it the same for a smaller cup? Boy, I don't understand that question, you guys. I'm sorry. If you're having gapping or wrinkles, that means that the depth of the garment is too shallow for you, and you should take an additional dart. Okay? If this mannequin is a D cup and you put a C cup on her, you actually probably will not get any wrinkling or any issues. And I think a lot of you just still are struggling with that simply because of old schooling or old teaching. This was the original question. Oh, pattern cup is not always bra cup size you wear. You shouldn't have increased. But isn't the dart that you take for a fuller cup than pattern? Yeah, so I took this fuller cup. This is for a fuller cup than the pattern, but I made this is a C cup. The muslin I made, I chose a C cup. That's what I sew for myself. And this woman that I'm draping on is larger than a C because I'm having to take that dart to fix it. Okay, so that means if I'd have started with a D cup, I most likely would not have had to make that change. Okay? Does that help? Okay, very pretty. And you can see you want that center front to hang straight, and you want it to close. Even if you're not going to close the jacket, we've talked about how we want that center front to hang straight so that when it's worn open, it doesn't pitch out to the side, which is not a good look. Okay? All right, that looks just really pretty. Okay, and any other questions that you have that come up on fitting, we can retro back as we go through, because I've made several different examples, and I've tried to cover different versions of to kind of what you would encounter and what you would encounter if you went to do it that way. And so I kind of want to go over that so that you can see different. Before we do that, but again, if you have fitting questions that you're not sure of, we can go back to where the fitting here and answer those questions. I do want to have a giveaway. Are we okay with that? Oh, 3117 muslin, sorry. Is it different than older knit muslin? I have some from a year ago, but it's really stretchy. Yeah, we have a muslin now that we've had it for a while. I don't know how long we've had it for. I mean, it's got a one-way stretch to it. It's got good body. It's got really nice body. But I think we've had it for a year, so I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to give you a keyword, your code word, and that code word you're going to punch in. And what it happens, you guys, is you only have to do it once. In fact, don't do it twice, because I think this little robot guy will kick you out if there's an entry in twice. So you only want to put it in once. And it's for the DVD Plain Potatoes with Pattern. And the code word is going to be all lowercase letters, and it's going to be play, P-L-A-Y. Only put it in once, and you don't have to rush, because we'll give you enough time that everybody gets to put it in. And the computer will pick somebody here in just a minute. So play, P-L-A-Y, no caps, all lowercase, P-L-A-Y. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to go on and show you some variations that I had. So after I made my muslin, I thought, okay, I'll make a muslin vest because I did my sleeve. I already have my sleeve because I've used my sleeve for so many jackets that I didn't make a muslin sleeve. So if you have made another jacket, 1950, 1900, any of those, you can use that same, it is the same sleeve. So there's no reason to make muslins over. The base is the same as 1900 or 1950. So any changes you make to that, you can still make to these, because it's, like I said, it's the same base piece. We just got the two shoulder pieces. And then of course it's all cut up. All right, so I did the vest. Okay, yeah, that's okay. How do I know if I need a smaller cup? You won't. You won't. You're always better off to make, I started to answer this, and I apologize, I never finished my train of thought because I got distracted. But if you're a B cup and you make a C cup, you're not going to have side effects. You're actually better off to make a larger cup size. And I know as I say that, you guys go, oh, that's not true. You know, it is true. Because cup sizing is depth, and it's not little points, and it's not all those funky things you've always thought it was. So if you just kind of trust me on this, you'll do just fine. You're better off to go into a larger cup size than too small of a cup size, and yet universally most of you choose a smaller cup size than what you really are. And you have those diagonal issues, and you have all those problems. Okay, just FYI. How do you know if you need a smaller cup? Oh, what are the signs? You won't. You won't. You'll be fine. Go big or go home. There you go. That's my slogan for the night. Go big or go home. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, have you got a winner already? Okay. We have a winner. Boy, am I supposed to see that all the way from here? Okay, Denise M. Denise M is the winner. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for watching. Denise M. And Denise M, if you will email me, we'll ship it out to you tomorrow. Email me Peggy@silhouettepatterns.com. If you've ordered from us before, just say that you've ordered from us before. Just give us your full name. I guess it's better to give an address just to make, if you've moved or something, it's better to have an address, but congratulations. So Plain Potatoes with Patterns is exactly what I did. And what it means is it gives you an ability to take this sleeve and put it in this garment and this collar. You know, it just changes up all the pieces, just like Mr. Potato Head. Obviously, when my kids were growing up, that was one of my favorite toys that they, one of my favorite toys, one of their favorite toys, one of my favorite toys that I bought for them. Anyway, I think y'all know how that goes. All right, so let's look at some different ones, and we're going to do the vest first. So if we'll go to the picture we did the muslin and the pieces you used, and then I want you to crawl up slowly, and we're going to do the vest I have on. I love this vest. Just think it's adorable. I really like it. Okay, so the next, I think it's the next one, isn't it? No, is that it? Okay, that's it. Sorry. Oh, there we go, the vest. Okay, so here you noticed what I did is I added 7 inches to the bottom, and let me just kind of show you on mine the reason I did. If you measure from shoulder to hem, shoulder to waist on this jacket, and then if you measure from waist to hem of the jacket, the proportion is 1.5 to 1. Okay, so let me say that again, shoulder to waist, and it doesn't mean literal waist, just, you know, visuals. Shoulder to waist and then waist to hem. It's 1.5 to 1. So what I wanted is, I wanted it to be a 1 to 1. I wanted it a little longer vest. I wanted a 1 to 1. So I figured out how many inches it would take so you can see that the shoulder to the waist and the waist to the hem is now equal. It's a 1 to 1. Okay? So that was just a style decision I made, but I used those same pieces now I used to make my muslin, but I added 7 inches to the bottom of the front, the side, and I wanted the waist piece. So you can see I added the waist piece in, but I didn't cut it. I just literally put it on top. So I don't know if that was harder or easier. I'm not sure which way you'll look at that, but because I wanted to use different colors, I wanted to go with the black, the white, and the tan. I love that combination, and I just wanted to do it in a vest. And so that's kind of where I started from. Where can I find your patterns? SilhouettePatterns.com. Can we make a jacket without shoulder pads? I don't think so. I think it'd be called a blouse. But I did. I made a blouse. But a jacket really, it doesn't have enough structure. The shoulder pad is what holds it up in place. And really the only difference between a jacket and a blouse is the structure, the shoulder pad, no. So I think a jacket without a shoulder pad actually becomes a blouse, terminology-wise. So I would say no to that. So I hope that doesn't offend anybody. But anyway, okay, so let's go back to this vest concept. So then I decided which pieces I wanted to be black and which pieces I wanted to be white, and then the fabrics. And I want to show you this one fabric that I used. It's 4144, and I used it because look at that selvage. Yeah, the selvage is automatically, if you look at 4144, I don't know if we have the selvage up there, but the bottom of the vest, the whole way around, is just finished. I just love it. I just absolutely love this fabric. It's a white, it's a linear, it's kind of like a cotton. It's just cool as can be. So you can see that that's how I finished the bottom. So I just put all the pieces along 7 inches from the fringe and then cut them all out. So this whole thing is all one piece, and the side piece is all one piece. Okay, and then the little black part here, the little trim here, is fold over elastic. That's my black. So 4144 is my main body. And then, you know what I did? The tan is those little quilt squares. You know, those pre-cut squares? I don't know the number for tan, but they're cheap. They're like $6.99 for a whole stack of 30. So I could cut all these little pieces out of that. You know, my shoulder, all of that's cut out of those little squares. So it was, I mean, I just loved it. It was a perfect color. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted black and white and tan. Love those colors together. So that's kind of what I opted. There's black down the front. The black that I used was 3840. And it's like a linear black. You can see it on the website. It's really beautiful. I wanted to wear it open, even though I put a double zipper in here. You know, I put that 22-inch double zipper. So I'm going to show you that I can, if I get this hooked in the bottom right. What I love about this double-ended zipper is so I can zip it here and then unzip it here. So you can see I can just wear it closed but have that little space zipped in between. I love these double-ended zippers. I just love them because you can just almost make it like just a little button at the waist because of how close you can put them together. So they're really fun. And we have them with black and black teeth and then white with silver teeth. Okay, so, but I decided I like it opened, even though this is an option. because when you do talk about making things a little more casual and feel, that openness is a little more casual. And so, you know, that's what I want to do. So I put the beige at the waist all the way front and back. And just when you sewed those together, I put in the fold over elastic, went right over the top. So 3840, 4144, and then the tan mask, but I don't know what that number is. Sorry, you guys. And that was my vest. And so because vests for spring, I just think they're wonderful. They are perfect to me because they're another layer, but they don't have long sleeves. So sometimes a coat or a jacket is just too much. It's too warm, but a little vest is just perfect. So I wanted to show you that, okay? Okay, how would you fix if the front of the jacket, worn open, fanned out at the hips? Okay, by squares do you mean fat quarters the quilters use? No, they're bigger than fat quarters. They were pre-cut for mask making. They're on our site and they start about page 4 or 5. You'll see we've got big stacks of pre-cut, I think they're 9 by 12s. And they like are, you know, they're like 2 yards of fabric for like $6.99. They're just a really good deal. But that tan in there is a really nice color, and that's the color I used. Okay. If the jacket fans out at the bottom, it can be 2 reasons. The first, it can be a circumference, that it literally just won't close at the bottom. So you notice my jacket is open, but it hangs straight. So that's what you want. If it can't close, then that's a circumference issue. And you're going to go around, I don't mean my jacket, my vest, I'm sorry. You're going to go around and add at each interval. And you want to add to, or go out in size, like you might do a 3 at the top and a 4 at the bottom, just so that you have enough circumference to go around. So if you literally can't bring the 2 pieces together, like what I just did, that's circumference. And sometimes jackets will go out because there's not enough circumference. Okay, the other reason jackets go out is because the depth of the garment is wrong, and there's not enough depth in the jacket. And the way to fix that is to take a darted center front. I can't show you on this because it's not wrong, but if you take a darted center front, what it does is it brings the fronts together and straightens them out. And when you're making a jacket, that's a really good reason to make a muslin, because if it's wrong with darting, I can't fix it afterwards. I can't fix sway back. I can't fix all this stuff afterwards if it's wrong. And you won't wear the jacket. So if it fans out and you have enough circumference, that means it's a depth issue. You're going to take a dart. Usually it's the bust area that's causing the issue. So you can take it right below the bust. And you can see that as I start to pull this up, it brings this side to the center. And so that's what you're going to do. Except this one doesn't have a problem. But if you have a problem, that will fix it. Okay? Okay. So then what I did, the next level, is I decided that I wanted to have a little knit jacket. And so, and actually by knit, I didn't want the whole thing to be knit. I wanted to mix the knit and the woven together, because when you think about it, when you have a little knit cardigan, the body could actually be woven. So I thought, okay, this jacket is already a woven. I'll leave the jacket body, but I'll change the knit sleeve. And I love this, you guys. I love this. I hope you do. Let me give you the fabric numbers. The fabric number is 4271, and it's a navy little print. I'll turn it around. I just think it's adorable. I still use the fold over elastic. I used a navy fold over to go on top. It just looks amazing. Or I shouldn't say it looks amazing. I think it looks good. I really like it. And 4272. It's a Monze from Monze. We've kind of had a little collection from Monze, and it's a navy ribbed knit, and it's beautiful together. Now I just decided to do something different. I just put this little tie here at the waist, but you could wear it open. It doesn't make a difference. I just added a little tie here. But I'll show you how you want to do the pieces on this. Now again, I did not cut all these pieces separately. All I did on this was I cut the whole front and then just put this piece on top. I literally just stitched it on top. Just because it's a time saver from doing it this way. In some regards, it saves a little bit of time. But then what I did is I took my knit sleeve. You had to change the angle of the shoulder because you're taking away the shoulder seam, and I've got this on a drawing, and I'll show it to you here in just a minute. We changed the angle of the shoulder, and then we put the template. You have to change the angle of the shoulder first, then put your knit template at the edge of the shoulder and draw it, and it'll raise the armhole and it'll make it just right. And then I used my knit sleeve. So now I've got a little knit, kind of a little knit cardigan. And that's exactly what I wanted. Although the body itself is woven fabric, it can be anything because the knit is where I'm going to get mobility. The knit sleeve is where I'm going to get mobility. And because it's a jacket body, it's got a center back seam and it just fits beautifully. It's really pretty. It's very pretty on, as you can see. And I just did a little casual tie just to kind of, again, bring it to a more casual kind of feel. Okay? No lining inside. No lining. It's a blouse. It's a knit. It's it's a cardi as opposed to a jacket that's lined. So the goal is to just show you that you don't have to use all the pieces. You can take some pieces away and just use some. Use, a couple here. Use a couple more and put in a knit sleeve if you don't want to do the whole tie interfacing and the shoulder pad and all that kind of stuff. And you can make a little cardigan here. Okay, with knit. You want to use a knit sleeve. Okay, so you got those fabric numbers, 4271 and 4272 were the ones I put together there. Okay, any questions we can answer? We'll give it just a second. Did you line the floral? Do you line the floral with knit sleeves? Line the floral? There's no lining in here. The knit sleeve is, I did do a knit sleeve, but there's no lining at all. Is the vest lined? No, but the vest has a facing. I did do a front facing all the way down so that I could wear the top of the vest open. And the back, if I opened it, the back would show and have, the facing would be covered. So the front facing I did all the way down, but I did not line the vest. The fabric itself, again, 4144, is got really nice weight to it. You can't really see through it, even though it's a white. So I didn't worry. It's like a double layer fabric. It's just beautiful. I don't know if it's, I think it's cotton. But it's a double layer and it's just really beautiful. It was beautiful to sew with and it was really fun. And I just, like I said, I fell in love with this bottom part. Now, because the bottom part is only on one edge, I did have to get 2 yards to do a vest. So if you're in love with the bottom edge, it's going to cost you a little more. The fabric's not that expensive, so, but just get enough to go all the way around because the only one selvage is fringy. The other selvage is just different. It's fringy, but it's a different kind of fringe, and I like the other side better. Did you make the knit and woven jacket longer too? No, this was made the same length as the pattern. The only difference is because I wasn't adding the bottom piece is 2 inches. This black bottom piece over here is 2 inches, so I did lengthen it 2 inches, but that's actually equal to what the pattern is. I just wasn't using the bottom piece. I hope that makes sense to y'all. So I made it just like the pattern. And that's where I say that's 1.5 to 1. Just this, the proportions of the jacket itself. Is that a sleeveless top underneath? Yeah, it's a little tank. If you want to wear it back like that. I did. This is, I think it's $195. It is. It's $195. It's $195 with a lowered neckline, what I did underneath. What do you think about using a sheer fabric with knit sleeves? I think that would be beautiful. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Your sheer fabric will hold up. It's got to have a little bit of body. You want your fabric to have a little bit of body, but a lot of sheers have plenty of body, so you should be good. Did you make a casing for the tie? No. So I just literally stitched it on. I mean, you could do it any which. It's not like a. So this body is already fitted, so you don't need a casing to pull it in, I think is probably what you're thinking. So all I did was sew it into the seam where this front band matches this, and then you can just tie it. So you're not really taking away circumference, I think is probably what the question is. You don't really need a casing because on me, this garment is really, it's like this one. It's just right at my waist. It doesn't, there's no extra fabric to be taken up by a casing. So a casing would really be not really non-functional, if that makes sense. Okay? All right, so that's to make the jacket like a little cardigan, casual, knit sleeve, to really give it a lot of miles. That was my goal. That was the goal in kind of doing that whole project. Are we okay there? Okay, so let's look at doing the jacket, because this I did just like the pattern. I shouldn't say that. I mean, you know, you always, to me, you always want to incorporate your fabric, and this fabric has an amazing selvage. I mean, look at this selvage. Is that to die for? So obviously, you know, I use the selvage, you know, down the front. And then on the pattern, this piece is actually the same as this, and then there's a band here, and I just made it black just because I liked it. It was just a little variance, not any big deal at all. But again, I just wanted you to really see how you can mix and match the fabrics to be whatever you want them to be. They're just fun. I think we're a little crooked there. But anyway, they're just fun. And I'll show you the back. I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's just really beautiful. Sleeves, just regular jacket, just a regular jacket. The only thing I'm still debating on is I love this selvage, and I'm debating, do I want to put it at the bottom of the sleeve? That's my big debate. I could just sew it straight on. You guys can vote for me. The reason I said yes is because I love it. The reason I said no is because there's so much going on with the jacket that I felt like the sleeve really didn't need attention down there, which is, design-wise, it's a no. But if you just say, oh, screw design, I like it, let's do it. You know, that's kind of what I'm figuring, because I could just literally put it right on top. You know, you can see that it just blends in beautifully. So this is the selvage of the fabric itself. And, you know, you always want to look at that selvage because it's such a beautiful trim. I mean, I just really, really liked it. So the fabric is 4261. 4261. And then what I did is, this was really fun too. The black, I can't remember what black I used, but we got plenty of blacks. You just want to look for something that's a similar weight. Don't get too light and too heavy, because it doesn't have enough body to it, if that makes sense. The lining I used was 3924. And the reason I want to say this is I want you to look at that lining, 3924. It's a cotton. It's a beautiful piece of fabric, but it's not expensive, and it is a gorgeous lining. So if I decide that I want to wear this jacket, you know, with the sleeves rolled up, kind of like the front cover, it really is a beautiful fabric underneath here. So it gives your jacket a little bit of personality if you decide to wear it open. And it's a gorgeous lining. I mean, it's very pretty, but again, not really expensive. And so sometimes we have a whole shipment of linings coming in from New York. Like, unfortunately, they're a little later than I wanted them to be, but they're amazing, and they're going to be really well priced. And I'm a big believer, not necessarily in stocking up fabrics, but I definitely think you ought to stock up on linings, because it's something that you get at a good price and you always need them, and to have them is really nice, rather than, you know, having to worry about it when you go to make a jacket or when you go to make something like this. Did you add the vertical black embellishment? I think you're talking here. No, that's part of the pattern. Now, in the pattern, there's actually a pattern piece for it. There's literally a pattern piece that's cut out of the same black fabric. This is black fold over elastic. because it's the same width and it matched really well. So I just used a fold over elastic. The same with this. This is a navy fold over elastic. It's so, you just don't see the difference. And you could use white fold, you can any fold over elastic. It's a great trim. Just don't pull it as you're sewing it, otherwise, you know, it pulls up your fabric. So you just want to make sure I press it first and just let it relax and then put it on and sew it on, and it's very easy to do. Did you just sew the selvage to the front band of the jacket and then insert the zipper? I did. So I wanted to show you this little piece because this is literally the selvage, okay, how it comes down there. So I put the band horizontally along the selvage, and then this edge, and I put the pattern piece, that edge. So I actually put it right sides together. It was the right width, and then folded it back out so that it ended up being just right, and then I just put the zipper right in. You've got one on the inside because this has a facing and everything. So you cut the band once, twice, 3, 4 times. You've got 4 of these front bands. So then I put it on the front and I put it on the facing, and then they just came together and I just stuck the zipper right in between. Very easy to do. Really, really easy to do. Wouldn't it be a bit heavy with the selvage sewn top? It's not heavy at all. The fabric is 100% cotton. It's very, very light. So that would not be my reason for saying no to this. And plus, you get a really nice drape when it's a little heavier anyway. But no, it's definitely not too heavy. Definitely not. Did you sew the selvage on after or cut pieces laying edge on selvage? So this right here, I just would put it on afterwards. Okay, so let me take that off because I think I might be confusing y'all. But this front piece here, it ran along the selvage, and there is a front separate piece to this jacket. If you look at the pattern, the jacket has a front piece, and I just put that front piece along the selvage. And you have to do that 4 times. But both selvages are the same, so I used both edges. And you don't need any additional fabric to do that. You just need to be careful how you lay out the fabric. I didn't use that selvage anyplace else except for that front, so it worked out beautifully. Are there pattern pieces of the jacket, bodice, waistband, hip? But you mentioned using one long pattern to the vest? Okay, for the vest, I used the lining pieces. For this is actually how the pattern is. This is one piece, this is one piece, this is a piece. So what you do is you sew this piece to this piece, and you put on this trim, then you sew it to this piece, the waist piece, and then there's 2 bottom pieces. There's actually 2 pieces here. One's the bottom to the center and one's the bottom to the side. And I know you can't see that because of this jacket, but you've got a back piece and then a side piece. You sew those together. You put the trim on, then you sew the shoulder here, you sew the waist, and then you sew the bottom center and the bottom side. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces right in that side of the jacket. So that's what I'm saying. I did it kind of very conservatively, but you can see you can do so many fun things with this jacket. You could just make it a wild patchwork. And if I'd had another, you know, zillion hours, I would have done it. I just didn't have enough time. Would a faux black leather work for the contrast? Yes, a faux black leather would be absolutely stunning. Absolutely, yes. So the elastic on top of the band, sew the elastic, the fold over elastic on top of the black and white fabric, or right sides together. No, so you sew the front piece to the side piece, and then you sew the band on top of the seam. It's just on top of. Press the seam allowance open, then sew the band. Okay? What fabric would you suggest for pants for the blue floral cardigan? This one right here, I'd go jeans. If you're a jeans wearer. I put it with black because I wanted to dress it up a little bit, but I think jeans would be fabulous. Yeah, or navy. You could just go with a solid navy pant. They both would look good. Using the fold over elastic as trim, when you open it up, you have the fold line down the center of your trim. how does that look? Oh, I mean, we could come in close on this, and you know, we'll come in really close and see if you can even see it. I don't think you can even see it. You guys are getting too picky. I guess you can see it when I... Remember that man in the airplane will never notice? We'll come in really close and you can look at that and see what you think. I think we can we get in that close even? We'll get in as close as we can and see if you can see the stitching. Or see if you can even see the fold. Yeah, you know, it's just dark, and so you're looking into dark, and you can when I look at it really close, but I think it looks great. You'll have to decide. If you don't like it, the pattern itself has a pattern piece where it cuts it out of the fabric, it makes it the right size, and then you just literally fold it and stitch it in place. So it matches everything else. You don't have to use fold over elastic. Fold over elastic just quickened the process and made it really easy, so I was just going to suggest that to you. Okay? And not distracting to me at all, personally, but, you know, hey, I may, you know, sometimes you may look at my stuff and say, I'd never wear that. You know? So if that's the case, then I don't want that to happen. Don't use it. Anyway. Okay, any other questions? All right, we've got all of our fabrics. We put up a lot of jacket fabrics, you guys. A lot of beautiful. That cobalt blue is just out of this world with black, the white. It really makes a great combination of fabrics. Is there a right or wrong side to fold over elastic? I don't think so, but one side is shiny and one side is dull. And I don't ever use the shiny side. You know, I've seen it actually in stores where the shiny side is out. I just don't care for it. It's shiny. So I always use the matte side, I'm going to call it. The dull side, whatever you want to call that. So I guess it depends on who you ask. All right. Any other questions that we can answer for you, you guys? It's springtime. We should be sewing. We've got beautiful clothes. We've got beautiful fabrics. This weekend we're putting up a whole collection of prints. We'll have them up we'll have them up tomorrow. And they're just gorgeous. Just all kinds of really beautiful rayon prints. We're going to release that PBS pattern, and the combination of those two is just dynamo. All right, so the goal is sneak in some time for sewing. We always make time to sew, right? Do you stitch both sides of the fold over elastic? Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, it'll fold over on you. That was funny. No, it wasn't. Okay, sorry. Okay. Anything else we can answer for you, you guys? We gave away a video. You know, we love you. It's beautiful. It's getting into spring weather. It's amazing. Although we're in Dallas, Texas. I guess the whole Midwest is kind of having a freeze in the morning. But the temperatures are dropping like 36 degrees in April. This is the coldest we've ever had. And I'm not sure how to handle it. My yard is not ready for it. And I don't know what's going to happen. We'll cross our fingers. Stay warm. Be careful. And we'll see you. We're going to have a sew along a week from this Saturday. We're going to New York tomorrow, or Thursday and Friday. We'll be in New York for those who are coming along with us. And then next Saturday, we'll have a sew along. All right. See you then. Bye. Happy sewing.